Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So here we'll be looking at an alternative example for the money weighted rate of return. And over here, this definition is obtained from the core reading, and this is well put. So let's have a look at a quick review. What is the money weighted rate of return? So the MWR is the interest rate satisfying the equation of value incorporating the initial and final fund values and the intermediate net cash flows. So these net cash flows happen straight after the initial and just before the final. So the only things we really are concerned of is the initial F0 and the final fund value, otherwise known as FT. And the rest of these cash flows will be the node between C1 to CT just before the final time. Normally we discount each of the cash flows in the equation of value. However, here we will accumulate the initial value of the fund and the cash flow and equate it to the final value. So every cash flow you get is irrespective of the time. So we just put the cash as it is. So you're given it at time 0. This is the cash you will use. You won't find the time value, hence it's called the money weighted, not the time. Note that the equation value used in calculating MWR only takes account of new money. Very important as well. So we're not interested in money coming from dividends or interest rates or even from shares. This is straight up new money such as pension scheme money, benefits, money coming in from another company, this kind of stuff. Now, and of course, any cash flow generated by the fund itself must be ignored, hence what I just said. So the formula itself, recap. So this is the formula that states. So F0 here is the fund value at time 0, FT being the final fund value. And the intermediate cashes are in between. These are the net cash flows. And this is all powered up by 1 plus I, the MWRR, to the power of capital T. Capital T is the time T. So think of this as the total period. That's what we're going to use a T. So between 1 month, one year to another will be the value of T. And these T1s are the time period at the point of its respective cash values. So let's look at the main example. So this is what we have here. So this is from a 2016 paper from, I think, LSC. And the example was that a fund had a value of 1,000 on 1st of January 2013. So let's say £1,000. And net cash flow of 170 was received on this date 1 year later, and a further 500 2 years later. The value of the fund on the 31st December 2013 was this amount, and on the 31st December following year was 1,200. Now, one thing to note, we are not really concerned with the second sentence. Why? It's because we're only interested in the immediate cash flow, net cash flows, and the initial fund to calculate the final fund. Now, using the fund value on the 1st of January, calculate the value of the fund on the 31st of December. Okay. So if we began on this date, let me use a highlighter. If we began on this date, and the final fund values here, if we notice, this is actually one time back before, this is actually a total of 3 years, but one time back. So let's just assume that the total period is 3 years. Okay, let's just assume this is the 1st of Jan 2016, so we can exclude 1 day. So that the money weighted rate of return earned on the fund between the 1st of Jan 2013 and the 31st over the 3 years is exactly 3%. So here the money weighted rate of return is 3%. Now the rest of the values here, we can define them. So we have a fund value of 1,000 on the 1st of Jan and a net cash flow of 170. So using the formula from the previous one, so let me just copy the formula here. Oops, I actually put on the following slide. So using this formula here, we can just replace terms. So let's have a look. So a fund value, so we have this value here. So this one would be F0, so we can call this one 1,000. A net cash flow 170 was received on the 1st of Jan. So this is exactly at time 1. So at T1, the value is exactly 1 year with its respective cash flow of 170. So cash flow here at time 1 is 170. And of course, a further 500 on the 1st Jan 2015. So again, additional year later. So at T2, so we can say over here, at T2, this is an additional 500. So here, oops, at T2 is exactly 2 years with a cash amount of 500. And that's this one here. And I believe that's it. There's no more cashes, so we can ignore this part. And I is 3%, the capital T is 3, T1 is 1, and T2 is 2. And that's it. Now all you simply do is just plug this in. So at this stage, now you're just going to plug everything in. So what do we have? So if we replace everything here, we're going to have 1000 times 1 plus I. So I is 3%, so it's literally 1.03 to the power of 3 plus the cash amounts. What is it? 170, 1.03. So 3 take away 1, so to give us power 2 plus the next cash amount 500. Let's see, is that right? Yep. 1.03 to the power of capital T, so 3 take away small t here is worth 2, so power 1, so just leave that. And this should give you the final fund value at time 3. And doing all this, you should finally get a result of this. Hence the value of the fund at time 3 is given by £71,788.08. And that's it, guys. Hope this video helped, and let me know if you want to do any more examples. Okay, I got a few more related problems, and check out my CT1 playlist and you should be able to find more. Otherwise, please share this to your friends, and let me know if you need help with anything else. Otherwise, have a great day and ciao.